Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so great to have all of you tune us in, turn us on. This is our new time spot. Really excited about this. For those of you that are not sure who I am or where I came from, I'm still trying to figure out where I came from. So you can take that journey with me. I am, of course, Dr. Pat, the host of the Dr. Pat Show, formerly known as Crust Busting. Benny and I have been doing a show together on this network, this drive time now, this very early morning drive time that I'm trying to get accustomed to my first day, and very excited about it. And I want to thank you all for being patient with us as we make this transition. For those of you that have been emailing us, I'm just saying to you for today, there will be Dr. Pat Show at 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Pacific time on transformationtalkradio.com. Benny, these are new beginnings. Mm-hmm. And, I know Friday was a little bit emotional, and let's give a shout out for Jacob. Jacob is the producer on Transformation Talk Radio's team. So you got Benny, you got Jacob, you got a whole bunch of other people behind the scenes, because here's the thing I had to think about in making this decision. And we're going to have some fun today. I look at a couple of things, and this has been a challenge for a lot of people. I want to ask everybody this question. If you're driving, don't do anything crazy, but ask yourself the question, am I playing to win or am I playing not to lose? So I'm going to ask that question again. I want to talk about this. I wanted to talk about winning today. Charlie Sheehan, Charlie Sheehan, right? We have to give him the whole winning, give him the nod for the whole winning thing back in 10 years ago or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, when he was like down and out and
hashtag winning.
Right. But he brought life to the word. And what I loved about that was, I never liked the show he was in, but, didn't matter. I love his dad. But what I loved about that is the dude picked himself up from the ground, and there he was. And anytime you saw him, he poked his head out and he'd be like, winning. That's all he would like, winning. That's what he would say. And so I wanted to talk about this today because I think we're all faced with challenges, and most of the challenges are in our minds. Now, probably moving forward, we're on Monday, we're on Wednesday right here at the 7 o'clock spot on transformationtalkradio.com and KKNW 1150. We may be adding another time, but other people are in those spots. I had to make a decision about this. And part of what the decision was don't change a winning hand. Don't change a winning game. And why would you change a winning game? Well, you would do that if you got afraid. You would give up on something if you believed you couldn't accomplish it. You would maybe step back a step or two or three or four if something changed physically for you and your health. But I'll tell you, when I think about the whole idea of winning, I really am fascinated by some of the athletes we see and some of the athletes we don't see anymore. I don't know, Benny, if you remember, what is her name? Cherie Richardson, the fastest woman sprinter who got caught with the little marijuana doping blood work.
I believe that's her, yes.
And I really thought long and hard about that. I really did. I really was like, I thought, I was like originally, oh my God, that was so unfair. And then I realized, wait a minute. In sports and in things that are contested, we have these rules. They're not even guidelines. They're like rules, dude, right?
Yeah, Shikari. I think that's what
Shikari, thank you.
Shikari.
They're rules. And look, if you're in Hollywood, there may be not as strict rules. If you watch the MTV Music Video Awards, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, but if you're an athlete, there are rules. And I have to tell you, it is so interesting that the phrase, we're going to get you tested, has taken on an interesting journey. But would we look at her any differently? The fact that, and this is the dilemma for me, I didn't understand how marijuana would have made her run faster. I understand the rule, but I don't understand the logic. I understand the rule, so I'm going to stay with the rule.
Not really considered a performance.
It is not considered a performance.
So in fact, she's using it to slow down to give her other competitors a chance.
Totally.
Maybe. I think that's what it is, right?
But that one blow for her, Benny, that one event. And this is the conversation today about, are you playing to win or you're playing not to lose? You have to think about the choices and the decisions you make and what that means in life. But do you really? Now, she's one example. And honestly, I wish her the best. I mean, I thought for sure maybe the time that she was suspended was up. I thought she would have competed in the nationals. I don't know. I kind of am this optimist when it comes to these sports and these athletes, right? And I understand that. I understand that there has to be these incidents, these rules. I understand all that. But what is the question about winning? And how does it relate to what I'm talking about today? So as I said, moving forward, you're going to hear a bunch of really cool guests. We're going to bring some people. We're going to do some fun things with this show because this is really Magnificent Monday. So I have to do a little crust busting today. For those of you that don't even know what I'm talking about, just Google crust busting and you'll see a whole bunch of things come up. For those of you that know me, you know that pretty much almost 20 years ago, crust busting was the way that I launched the show. And, you know, I think about what that means today, and it hasn't changed. I mean, it is the same conversation about what is holding you back. It's like Vincent talked about last week, Vincent Jenna. You know, what is holding us back? You know, is it COVID? Is it the environment? Is it the state of employment? Is it the fact that organizations are shocked that they can't keep staff in place? Are we actually looking at it in a way that presents winning? Or are we looking at things that has to do with what seems like winning, but it's actually playing not to lose? Now, let me tell you the difference. Anybody ever plays poker, anybody ever plays a game that requires just an incredible amount of strategy, right? And you think, really, poker strategy? I mean, you should have been playing with my uncles. So if you played poker or pinochle with my uncles, you'd have sitting around a table and you'd have heard a whole lot of things in a whole lot of different languages. But more importantly, you'd have watched these guys have their own idea of what winning looked like. But I will tell you, I know this today as I sit here. I don't know a single, whether it's Uncle Dickie, Bobby, Billy, Joey, Johnny, Louie. Oh, wait. Dickie, Bobby, Billy, Johnny, Louie. Did I get Dickie? Yeah, Dickie. And then who am I leaving out? I got Louie. Louie was never the favorite, so it's very hard to remember. If I go around the horn, it's just poor Louie. I'm saying poor Louie.
Right.
Louie was the dude that was playing not to lose. I'm telling you. Didn't stand a chance against Dickie. Absolutely. My Uncle Dickie, you didn't stand a chance against him. So, but here we are. They would all come around and they'd play, and my dad would play. And these are on my mom's side of the family, and they'd all come. And I watched the way they showed up to play. Here's what I want to say. Where the heck is this conversation going? Here's where it's going. I was so amazed at Dickie, Bobby, Johnny, Louie, the gang, my mom's brothers. They showed up in Italian leather shoes. Now, I'm not going to go into how my family got this kind of money over there on that side. You figure it out yourself. They showed up in Italian leather shoes. I knew Italian leather shoes. I knew it so well that when I did the hot dog gig, being homeless in New York, and I spared the mustard on another Luigi shoe, I knew those were Italian. They would show up, Benny, dressed like there was no tomorrow. All of them. Clean shaven. I mean, you could smell the cologne from 3 blocks away, right? And they would show up, Cuban cigars, because that's what they did, just perfectly dressed. Even if they didn't have like a jacket blazer on, you could tell that they were wearing incredible. And what were they going to do? They were going to sit down in the kitchen at my dad's place in the Bronx, and they were going to play cards. And, what I learned about them later on is that side of my family, my mom's side of my family, that's the way they showed up to win. That's the way they showed up to win. Now, it may not mean anything to you today because there was very little other ways to show up to win. And that was one of them then. It was, even if you weren't the richest person on the planet, you had this idea that you were going to show up in your best. The question is, are we showing up as our best? And that's the question I asked myself today. As I got up, my alarm didn't even go off. And I found myself at 3:46 staring at the clock and thinking, I just can't stay here. I just got to get up and I got to go. And that's why I made the comment to Benny, because this is what Benny does. Benny gets up and he has been coming in at this time for, it's got to be over 20 years. What are you working on now? How many years are you working on?
Just cresting to that. Not almost. I mean, depends on full-time work.
Got to be close to 20, though.
Yeah, we'll just consider round number, sure.
Yeah, you have to be, because if it's almost 20 for me and you were here before me, right? So
yeah,
you've been doing this.
I interned just a little bit just before officially getting on the payroll, so to speak. So
yeah, that's right. Okay,
you got to earn your dues.
You got to earn your dues.
Yeah, exactly.
But here we are today, and we're asking ourselves, do we have what it takes to win? And I've looked at that this morning, and I asked myself that. And now, coming off, for those of you coming off last night's MTV Video Awards, I asked myself the question, what if I wasn't Harry Styles? What if I was Billie Eilish? What if I was Billie? What if I was Ed Sheeran? What if I Olivia Rodrigo? What if I was any one of those people in the best pop category? And I can't remember a best pop category, and maybe I'm wrong, that didn't have Taylor Swift in it. But what is it about you that can hold yourself up as a winner chicken dinner, even if you're not Harry Styles? When we come back, I'm going to give you my 3 tips for how to do that. And believe me, I'm a work in progress. And what I've come to know is it doesn't matter if you made the winning circle. How you show up, you could have eaten off of Uncle Dickie's shoes. Let's take a short break, Benny. Jacob, we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, you're tuning in and listening to the Dr. Pat Show. It's so great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on. Now, okay, so what does it mean? So this is an interesting conversation, because this is where you make decisions in your life, and you make decisions based on a number of factors. But I wanted to share something with you that I learned a long time ago, and I learned it in the sport that I play. Actually, I learned it in 2 sports that I played. One softball, the other is table tennis, ping pong. And in both of those sports, I was challenged to make a decision. And I think people that compete in sports make this decision. And so do you all every day. We all make it. We all make this decision. And you're watching some of the field and track races that have happened, the nationals. And then there was a race, I think it was abroad, the first race after the nationals. And you're watching these people run. And you know they're winning the race already, but they decide they're going to push harder. Why? Because there's a record they want to break. Noah Lyles, I think, broke his own record. But what is that about? Is that extreme? Is that overdoing it in life? You know, is that something that maybe you're thinking about it today and you're thinking about, you know what, I am not going into the work. I'm going to just go into work and I'm just going to I'm going to play not to lose today at the work. That's what I'm going to do. I'm driving to work and I'm just winning. I don't know that I feel like going into work and I'm going to win. Nobody over here really appreciates when I win anyway. They don't recognize me for winning. What the heck are you talking about? Why are you talking about winning? What is the big deal with winning? Okay, winning is an energy. It is an energy. It is the kind of energy that if you changed a few things around, you would get whining. That is the word. Right? I mean, what's the difference in a letter? What's the difference in a letter between winning and whining? And this is the interesting thing about this. So when we think about winning, and the fact that this is a Monday, and the fact that this is the first day of a new adventure for Transformation Talk Radio, Dr. Pat Show, I had to ask myself all of the reasons for my why. And one of the things that I love that I looked at is I looked at this idea of winning, coming off the heels of the MTV Music Video Awards last night, if any of you watched that, but also more importantly, just to see the talent and just to see the people show up as talent. And whether you liked certain genres of music or not, these people did not get to that stage without rolling up their sleeves and kicking some butt to get there. They did not. You know, if you think about somebody like a Taylor Swift, and you think about the fact that here, I don't even know how long, I'm trying to figure out how long has she been a name, right? I'm thinking about this, Benny. I don't know when her first record dropped. I don't remember exactly, but I just know for like forever we've been talking, or she's been somewhere in some highlight of something, right, for a really long time. And last night, to see her glowing after all years of people absolutely trying to push her down, trying to tell her she's not this, she's not that, making fun of her love life. That was a thing too.
She got her start in 2004 in her first album, I think, dropped in this.
Right. I mean, kind of like what we're talking about here.
She's almost in the game for 20 years too.
Exactly. And yet, here's what I love. So what happens with her? So video of the year, because let me just keep this in mind. This is the MTV VMAs, video music, right? Right. This is it. This was last night. So one of the premier awards to get, if this is a video award show, right, is video of the year. Wouldn't you agree, Benny? Wouldn't you say that that's got to be the thing? The 10-minute version of All Too Well, Taylor's version of All Too Well, is the winner. Won that award. 10-minute version. Now, you have to think about this. In the world, was she playing not to lose? Or was she playing to win in the only way she knew how, by being herself and being creative in so many, many ways? You know, the last 10-minute version of a song had to be MacArthur's Park or something, you know, or maybe it was, you know, Bohemian Rhapsody or something. I don't know. But 10-minute version of that song in a world that would tell you, right? Everybody following me on this? Everybody, 10 seconds is too long. In the world we live in social media, 10 seconds is too long. Taylor Swift, All Too Well, 10-minute version, Taylor's version. See, that's winning. That's winning. When you go look up an award and it just says All Too Well, 10-minute version, Taylor's version. This is what I love. This is why I talk about it, because there's one thing that you get to lean into when you sit here and you look on the outside at people on the outside that are giving you headlines, that are giving you pop-ups on your phone, you know, that maybe are incredible makeup artists or whatever they do, or they're fantastic at, you know, being a role model for you in your life. And you look at them and you say, she isn't going to last 10 minutes. She'd be lucky if she lasts the whole length of that 10-minute version. See, this is back in 2004. These are some of the things. So the question really is, in order to become a winner and to not fall into playing not to lose, what does your R factor look like? See, that is the thing I want to say to all of you. There's a level of resilience, and I break resilience down in a couple of parts. But here's the thing that I'm seeing in the world today. Not for the Taylor Swifts, but for the average everyday person that's picking himself and going up into work every day. You know, for the people that you come over and cut your grass. You know, from the person this morning that you tried to open up my little espresso place for me 15 minutes early because I arrived there at 4:45 this morning, trying to get that big barista machine to work. That didn't, you know. What is it they have in common? It is this level and aspect of resilience we don't talk about enough, but I learned from my stepmom. It's called perseverance. See, this is the juice. This is the juice, I think, to winning. I think you could be highly talented or have no talent at all. And you step out into the world, and there's something about your ability to move forward even under fire. There's something about your ability to move beyond the criticism. Taylor Swift, All Too Well, 10-minute version. Republic Records, asterisk, winner. See that? Winner. How did that happen? Competing with Ed Sheeran, Harry Styles, who took a bunch of other, here she is. All Too Well, 10-minute version. Taylor Swift. What is it about this woman that has me in awe? What is it about her ability to just be Taylor Swift? It doesn't matter how many houses she owns, how many records she does, but how did she overcome such enormous criticism early on in her life, and still does? But if you look at her picture holding that award, I mean, do you remember when that award was snatched from her at one of these awards shows, Benny? Remember when Kanye West went up there and ripped the award from? I mean, I think
that wasn't
about,
cool at all. Still,
it wasn't cool, but I
she
think
persevered
about
from it for sure.
she just yanked that thing or tried to get that thing away.
Yeah, she took the higher road as well.
Took the high road as well.
And
took
look at
the high
her now.
road. I looked at her picture receiving that award, and I just thought to myself, how did she do it? How did she do it? What are her parents like? who's in her close circle of friends? Who are the people that support her? Who are the people that stood by her? And believe me, she has got some very strong women friends, very strong. But there she stood holding this award, beautifully done nails. Just love the whole sparkling. Oh my gosh, the sequence, that just stunning. 10-minute version, unheard of in today's world. It's called Taylor's version. Won the award. When we come back, what happens when they say you're done, you're over, you're too old? Who also won an award last night that many people wrote off, slipped off, tried to bury, didn't even think she was a thing. You're not going to see her in any commercials for cars. But she came through and she won an award in a category that she has been known for. Again, winning. This woman doesn't even know what it means to play, not to lose. When we come back, 1-800-930-2819. You want to call in? I want to know. Are you winning? Are you winning mostly? Now, I'm just going to say this before we go to break. I do not do this perfectly. I'm telling you that this is a lifelong journey for me. I do not do this perfectly. But today I am in awe with what we can share with each other. Are you able to pull the juice of perseverance out to take that one additional action today and make yourself a little MTV, little astronaut man award or whatever that is? Let's take a short break, Benny. Jacob, we'll be right back. That's what I'm talking about. Welcome back, everybody. For more information about us, go to transformationtalkradio.com. Don't forget, we are programming 24/7 over there. I will be doing the 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock later on today. But we're talking about winning, and we're talking about what it means to win and what it means to play to win and what it means to play not to lose. And they're very different. They're very different. And yet, when you talk to people about what it means to play not to lose, they know they've made a conscious decision sometimes, but most of the times they don't. They don't. And what would you say is one of the things that gets in the way of that? I mean, what gets in the way of you truly stepping out and winning? So what does winning look like? Winning looks like, regardless of whether or not Taylor Swift was going to win this award last night, she knew she had another album right around the corner, and just happened to be able to mention, right, that, yeah, hey, everybody, I'm going to tell you more at midnight about my new album that's coming out, and it's coming out October 21st. And she did do that when she received the award. But there's something else, there's something else that kind of goes unnoticed. And that is the fact, right, Benny, Jacob, we were talking about this. This isn't her first award. It's a record-breaking award of most wins in this category. And if you think about it, having 3 wins in Video of the Year category is a big thing. And yet this is part of winning. See, people are so afraid to use the word winning. And I do have to give credit to Charlie Sheehan for really turning that around a little bit. But why are we so afraid to use that phrase? And yet every mom and dad that watches their son or daughter out either on the little league field, on the softball field, on the jujitsu field, it doesn't matter, wherever you're watching your child, right, participate, in the back of your mind is, I want little Johnny and little Mary, little Nicki Minaj. I want all of them to be the winner. Right in the back of your mind, you're out there for your kid, right? And you're seeing them, they're participating. You're not saying, oh, honey, I want you to play, don't play not to lose. No, they're not. They're like, honey, you need to run faster, honey, right? And I'll say, this is not show on parenting in sports, because that's a whole nother show. That's just like Crazy Town. I coached young kids, and I'll tell you, I remember my second season coaching young people, and I said, we are going to coach the parents. We have got to do something different. But here's what I love. You're watching people excel and live their lives. See, that's the thing when I think about Nicki Minaj, who also won an award last night. You know, when I think about people that have won things like this, they have worked so hard to be here. And what does that even look like? You see, I'm not sure that that level of excelling is for everybody, nor should it be. But whatever it is you feel in your heart and you love to do, that's the thing you want to put out on a pedestal. That's that's that little moon man award that you want to give moon man, moon person award you want to have for yourself. But are we able to do that now? You see, I think we're coming out of what we call a pandemic. And if you're like us and Benny, myself, Jacob, you are still faced with the challenges of this every day. If you're doing a show, if you're running a business, if you're going into work every day, and you all know what I'm talking about, you show up at work and you walk in, you know, and you're ready to do your job and you find out Joe is out for today. Because why? Some reason having to do with this. And you're backfilling for Joe. It is a different world. It is really tapped into every essence of our patience and our humility that we have. You know, it has really created opportunities for personal growth and professional growth for all of us. It has called us at our best to see whether or not we believe. See, I wonder what Taylor Swift was thinking. I wonder if she's thinking, I think I'm going to win the award, therefore I'm going to have the album. I don't know that she was. I think she was just doing her thing. I think she showed up to do her thing. I think she was there. She knew she was nominated, and there she was. And she still knew that October 21st was going to be her new album, and the language is dropping. So I'm going to assume she's going to do a vinyl version of that because people now want vinyl again. But what happens when you don't win? Do you give up? What happens if you're in some of the other categories, right? What happens if you sat there waiting on the edge of your seat and maybe you're Ed Sheeran or maybe you're Doja Cat, maybe you're somebody else in that category, maybe you're Harry Styles because you had just picked up a bunch of things for you know what you did. Maybe you're thinking that's you and it's not you. Maybe you're sitting there thinking, for sure, I will get Artist of the Year. So here's what's interesting to me is you see this video, this 10-minute Taylor Swift video, but you don't see her in Artist of the Year. You don't even see her in Song of the Year. And thank you to Billie Eilish. Thank you so much. Happier Than Ever. What's the name of that? What's the name of that? Dark Room. So here you are and you're looking at this and you're a young person now, and maybe you're not a young person, but you're watching these awards. Millions of people watch these awards, and you're watching your person that you bought every single thing that they've ever produced or done. So you're watching it and they don't win. And all of a sudden your energy is like crazy because they didn't win. Your person didn't win. Do you push harder or do you back off your life? I love bringing this up because I get to work with women on a one-on-one basis. I get to really take a look at these things. And it's also a reflection of who we are. So what is the question you're going to ask yourself today? Is there a way for you to energize yourself, even if you're in a job you don't love? Even if you got an alert from your bank that says, oopsie, your balance dropped below. Even if you didn't get that job. Even if you're wondering, where the bleep did all this traffic on the I-5 come from today? What the heck is going on? Even if fill in your own blank. Are you able to take that next step? See, the difference between perseverance and resilience is twofold. Resilience is one of the most used words right now. What that means is you have an innate ability to overcome whatever the obstacle is in front of you and persevere. See that? But perseverance doesn't always say you have to overcome an obstacle. It just says you're going to be like an 18-wheeler. You're just going to roll on. I had the experience this weekend of watching the latest Top Gun Maverick movie. And you're probably thinking, like, what? Yeah, I'm I'm a holdout, right? Because pretty much everybody on the planet has seen the movie now. I think everybody, almost everybody. Some people have seen it 2-3 times. But I decided this is my time to really watch it. And I entered it with a little reservation because I thought to myself, how could they make a better movie than Top Gun? I mean, how is it even possible to really do that? And by the end of the movie, I thought, wow, I think they did. I think they did. I think they made something that became highly relevant for the time we live in. And so therefore, it was one of these things where the people that produced that, Tom Cruise and others, they were not playing not to lose. They were playing to win. Even the decision they made, and boy, I'll tell you, this was a tough decision for the studio. They decided not to release that movie. That movie should have been out like a year ago. And they decided not to put that movie out. And here it was. But, you know, in our everyday lives, we're faced with decisions. We're faced with these moments where you just want to recoil. You just want to like hop back. You just want to say, well, wait a minute. I don't think I could take that next step forward. I don't think I could do that next thing. You know, I don't think I've got any version of Taylor Swift inside of me at all. Or if you're Nicki Minaj, you're sitting there thinking, I'm Nicki. And I'm just featured Lil Babe. And I'm like, what is the name of this thing? I'm talking, do we have a problem? And out she comes. Wow. Republic Records again. Best hip hop Nicki. Best hip hop Nicki. Nicki Minaj. Now, how far back can we go for Nicki Minaj? We can go back. Nicki Minaj, right? Teamed up with who? Pink, Christina Aguilera. I don't even know how far back. But here we are again. What does it take in especially in an industry like this? Like, you are only as good as your last 30 seconds. What do you have to do to keep being up there and saying, I'm here? It doesn't matter what goes on in my life. Doesn't matter when I'm a winner. I'm a winner on the inside. And thank you, Charlie Sheen, for that. Because we all know when Charlie Sheen was stepping out of his back door in pajamas, that the dude was having a tough time. This is really important because you're thinking about the things that most of us are thinking about: high gas prices, inflation. You know, you stopped even buying hamburger because the price of hamburger meat is just ridiculous. You're wondering, how are you going to be able to get the things you need for your family, put food on the table? And really, am I talking about going into a job you don't like and still behaving like you're a winner? Am I really saying that to everybody? Well, I am, because what's the alternative? See, I think what I love about this is what it is you put out will attract more of it. See, that's what these people have in common. They're not special. They're no different than you and me, but I'll tell you what they got in common. You know, when you see them, you see their confidence. You see that they believe that that is who they are. They believe that that is their birthright. And that is the same for all of us. And that's the message for today. It's one of these messages where you step back and you ask yourself, do you believe in what you're about to achieve? Because if you don't, you will not achieve it. You won't get there. It won't come out the way you wanted it to. If you believe so strongly that the path that you're on, the dream that you have, the vision you have for your life, if you believe that, and there isn't it just not even an iota of doubt that could creep in. And by the way, if it does creep in, you're deleting it before it's even there. So if you're in that mode and you believe that, you're totally unstoppable. See, that's winning energy. That's the only difference between winning and playing not to lose. When you play not to lose, you do not believe you can win. That's why you play not to lose. And I'll tell you, in the sport that I competed in, one of the last championships I played in was for a spot on the national team. And I just love playing. And I found myself in a match with a woman that I then found out later was like the number 3 seed. And I just played my game because I loved it until my coach and 2 other people said something to me about who she was and what she was capable of and what she had done. And it only happened in a nanosecond as we were changing courts. And I walked by my coach and I got my towel. And, you know, somebody, one of the people on my team said to me, do you even know who you're playing? And I didn't. All it took was that doubt to creep in my mind. I had been up 2 games. We were in our 3rd game. I had been beating her 2 games. I had 1 game and I was ahead in that other game by about 6 points. I not only lost that game, I lost the next 2. And I didn't just lose them. I lost that game very, very closely. It was tight. But then the next 2, it wasn't even a match. I had given up. I had so bought in to almost 30 seconds of comments from people about who this young woman was. Every aspect of doubt, everything that I thought about myself diminished. See, that's how quickly it works. 30 seconds of other people's comments will put you in a state where you play not to lose. That's what the message is today. I want to make sure that everybody recognizes what the 2 energies are, what it means to play to win, and what it means to be on the other side of that, and how it shows up. Now, why Taylor Swift? Not just because of who she is, but I want to say this to you. I want to say it's because look at what she did. It wasn't going to matter if she won anything at those awards. Not a single thing. It wasn't going to matter. She had an album ready to come to be announced, going to drop in October. She's already beyond the award. She's not waiting for the award. She's moved beyond the award. That's what this is asking you to do today. How do we create a movement to help people stay in the energy of that and move beyond anything anybody said to you in the past bunch of years? Just move beyond. Just get out of our own way and not let our consciousness be infiltrated. I don't know. Do you think the people that didn't win the awards, do you think maybe they're going to sit back and say, oh, I think, I didn't win this award. I think maybe what's going to happen is I'm going to throw in the towel. There may be some people that do that. There may be some people that say, I'm just going to throw in the towel, right? I don't know. But if you're in the best R&B category and you didn't win because The Weeknd won and you're Alicia Keys, do you think Alicia Keys is going to be like, oh, I didn't win, I'm going to throw in the towel? Here's the thing that I want to say to everybody. It takes work. It takes work. It took work for me to get up today and start a new time slot. A time slot I'd never been in, time slot Rob and Brenda have been in for a long time. And I thought really what I wanted to say and talk about in this show. And so here's what I love about being a show up here for everybody and being able to really start this show is you bring the momentum of what is truly in your heart forward. And as you bring that forward, you'll see it will take on an exponential level with you. it'll take on a level of momentum that nothing can penetrate, not doubt, not fear. See, that's the key. We don't really have to learn how to overcome these things if we can hold true to the belief of really who we are and what we want to do. If you have gotten an idea, it doesn't matter what the idea, if you got an idea, I want to buy a home, I want to plant a garden, you know, I want to do this, I want to take art lessons, I want to go back to school. If you've got that idea, right? I want to look for a different job. I want that job. I want to look for a different job. Oh my gosh, you know, I want the love of my life. I want to be out of the relationship. Whatever that thought is, you see, you have already planted the seed for it. The only thing that will get in the way is, one, you make a conscious decision. You don't want that anymore. It's no longer a desire. And then you put it aside. Or you start to think that I have this desire, I don't deserve it, and I'll never achieve it. That is the toxicity of losing. You see, because if you're not winning, you're in everything else. And that toxicity that comes in our hearts, right? That thing that comes in our hearts like alien blood, the acidity of it will crush any dream. And I'm telling you, that is not your life. That's not who you're here for. And that's not what you're here to do. This is a time now to really look back at what we've been able to achieve. Incredible things. You know, we have gotten through a pandemic that would have crushed us as humanity. I'm not saying it wasn't tough. All of us have lost people, but now we're back. And even if we're not back fully, we're back. We're able to carve and create. If you went through this pandemic, you've seen so many innovations, so many things change, you know, so many things being altered to how things could be done, innovations. I mean, the food industry in itself was thrown upside down. And what happened? You saw new ways for food to be delivered, groceries to be delivered to your house, right? Seriously? I mean, you could have never, ever gotten that done. It wouldn't have happened. The idea of going online and having your grocery store deliver cough syrup to you. See, these are the things that I want y'all to think about. Yes, they were tough times, but the innovations that came out of these tough times were phenomenal. Just like we're seeing in the car industry now. You know, the price of gas has skyrocketed. And what are we seeing? More electric cars that are affordable, more hybrids, more ways to think about, wow, dude, I don't need that gas. But here's what I want to say. You have the ability to win. All of us do. And in this time spot moving forward, you'll hear some of the people in the world, the thought leaders, the people that know what it's like to fail and know what it's like to rise up, know what it's like to take criticism, and know what it's like to step up and get that Moon Man award and do it in a sequin dress and glitter nails. You'll know what it's like for people to remember you are Nicki Minaj. You haven't gone away. You also know what it's like for people to know that you're new. You're Billie Eilish. Maybe you're somebody else. You also know what it's like to realize that even for Top Gun, there can be Top Gun Maverick, and it could be as good as the first. Because there isn't not a single ounce of playing not to lose in any of that. And they're just people like you. Thank you all for tuning us in. We'll be back on Wednesday here. Thank you, Benny. Thank you, Jacob. And we'll see you guys later at the 10 a.m. on transformationtalkradio.com. See you then.